So guys, talking about the double layer encryption of the sarcophagus, right? So like we earlier mentioned, every blockchain address comes with a public key and a private key. So the public keys are used for encryption and the private keys are used for decryption. So what happens during the process of embalming is that the embalmer is required to provide the public key of the recipient. So what happens is that when the embalmer does this, the public key is used for encrypting the inner layer of the sarcophagus. And when this process is complete, the embalmer submits this sarcophagus, which is already encrypted in one layer, to the archaeologist, who in turn uses his own public key for the encryption of the outer layer of the sarcophagus, which then makes it a double layer encryption. This simply means that no matter how an archaeologist is or the archaeologist is, he will not be able to unlock or access the sarcophagus because the sarcophagus has two layers of encryption and his private key can only access one layer of this encryption. That also means that for the decryption of the sarcophagus to be possible, both parties, both the recipient and the archaeologist, have a role to play for the sarcophagus to ever be decrypted. So when the double layer encryption is complete, the archaeologist uploads the sarcophagus to the Archive network, where it is stored forever until the time of resurrection. So upon resurrection, the archaeologist then pulls this sarcophagus from the Archive network and unwraps the outer layer of the encryption using his private key. This is because his key can only access one layer. So he decrypts the outer layer of the encryption of the sarcophagus and delivers the corpse, which still has one layer of encryption, to the recipient, whose private key is the only thing that can access that inner layer encryption of the sarcophagus. So upon accessing the inner layer of the encryption by the recipient, that is the only time we can comfortably say that resurrection is complete. So taking a look at this diagram we have here, we can see the role of the embalmer in providing the corpse, which is the payload data. We can also see the archaeologist who provides the his public key for the encryption of the outer layer. We now see what makes up the sarcophagus. So we see the data inside, and we now see two layers of encryption of the sarcophagus and what happens during of the sarcophagus using the public key of the recipient. And this is actually how the process is. The embalmer provides the data, he uses the recipient's public key to encrypt the inner layer. He submits to the archaeologist, who in turn uses his own public key to encrypt the outer layer of the sarcophagus, and the file is ready to go up to the Archive network to be stored forever. And of course, the archaeologist gets his digging fees and he gets paid his bounty. And that is just that about this video. In the next video, we'll be discussing properly the role of the embalmer in the sarcophagus ecosystem and what it generally means to be an embalmer. Thank you for staying with me, and see you in the next video.